Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of How to Human. My name's Dean. We've got a very special guest today.
Hello, I'm Cullen. I'm a former Royal Marine Commando and now an actor.
Tip spent 37 years in the Royal Marines, where he worked up the ranks from Royal Marine recruit to captain. We'll be chatting about his transition from the Royal Marines to becoming an actor and why he chose the arts after his military service. What was it like transitioning from the regular military to then becoming the actor that you are now?
Well, for me it was, I was at that stage of my career, and I was sitting in an office in front of a computer screen, and I was going, all I ever wanted to be was a bootneck, was a Royal Marine Commando. So as soon as I got that stage in my career, this isn't really what I joined up to do.
Yeah.
And I had my reading glasses on, so even the thought of being in a contact, of being in operations and going, right, contact, wait out, and I've got to call a fire mission, I'll get my map out, I have to get my reading glasses on. I think that I maybe lose a bit of kudos, you know what I mean, and it might be as effective as what it was. So I thought, right, let's think about doing something else, like it's just do something completely different. And you think about it, for a lot of people in the military, there's all these offers about doing private security.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, the thought of going back to another sandy pool hole, it doesn't. And for my whole life, I've never done anything for money. So
yeah,
I was in a position where my life and going, well, I'm just going to do something for myself now. So
yeah,
done my time. All my clan had grown up, you know what I mean, and I was like, I could do what I want. And I looked at creative writing because, like I say, I'm an Irish bloke and a bootneck, so we tell stories, don't we? Everything, in the military, everything's about the story, innit? Everything's about, you know, the best storytellers, are the people you want to hang around out there. So, right, let's tell stories. So I went to university, a local university in the southwest, and looked at creative writing. So I've done that, but in that creative sort of world, division of the university, there was also a degree in acting. And I thought about, when you map across your skills in the military, we act so much, you know what I mean? So much of your day-to-day life is acting. And then if you even fuse in the terminology, like rehearsals, you always rehearse for ops, specific ops is here. You work in theatres of operations, you always have to be measured on your performance. I thought, this is really the same. So it is very similar in a lot of ways, except that in the acting world, there's no life or death situations.
Did you make that connection before you actually went to university though,
No.
or was it, or when did you kind of start finding out the similarities between working in the military and being an actor? When did that dawn upon you?
To be honest, it was there. I was at the university. I was thinking, and I was just mapping across, and it was just that the performance thing. And I think what acting is storytelling. That is it. You're a storyteller, and that's the thing. And that's the exciting thing about it as well. I mean, you see this as well, Dean.
Yeah.
The exciting thing is, right, this is this is the story, and you become one of these characters and fuse in and tell their story. And there's all different forms of acting as well. The different theatre forms. There's all there's comedy. There's everything, but it's a story. It's all about a story, or you becoming a character and telling the story. And I thought, it's amazing. It is amazing. Unfortunately, it is the most overpopulated industry in the world. So every bar about like a nano percentage, everybody is a struggling working actor, and they've got like 5 or bit like yourself, about 10 different jobs just to keep them in the air to survive, so they can act, so they can maybe get.
So you can pursue what it is that you want to do.
And if you get for me, as an actor, it's just getting yourself up that journey till you get to the point where you're not scratching for the jobs anymore, and you sort of get pulled along, going, I know this dude who can do that, and you get pulled into it. And I'm not,
I think slowly you are getting there, though. I generally think out of everybody that we know from, like, say, the Soldiers Arts Academy and stuff like that, I would say that you probably work the most. I generally think that, like, and within an acting sense, because I'm not saying that everybody else hasn't had the same opportunities. We've all auditioned and stuff like that, but what I have noticed from yourself is obviously is, you know, we'd obviously like Mandy and stuff like that. For a while I was watching you like going bang, 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 and you were just literally trying to dig your teeth into everything.
Yeah.
And I think all that hard work through Mandy and what you've done and doing all these different little, whether it's short films or and TV episodes and this, that and the other, has led to a point of where now actually you are starting to get more and you are getting pulled in as well though, and because of your military experience.
Yeah, I mean, but because that adventure that we've done, and both of us have had this as well, we sort of jumped off the diving board, and we're going, oh, this is working. We're moving on, and then COVID hit us, and it was like that was like a big, massive shitburger that
we were doing all right though up to that point, weren't we? I reckon if lockdown didn't happen, I reckon we'd have been a hell of a lot more far on than what we were now.
Definitely. I mean, like for anybody in the industry, I think, unless you've been established, it's been a hard time. And like I say, even in that period, I was lucky enough to get a commercial during the COVID.
Yeah.
My brother and I may look the same, but we have two different souls. He is the energetic one, and I'm the laid-back one. He likes the bold things in life. I prefer the more refined. He always looks for something to remember. Well, for me, it's something unforgettable. Everything suggested that we would take different paths, but it seems not.
Got a job doing a COVID job, and I have to admit, even though it was probably the most turgid job I'd ever done in my life, it was well paid, and it was on a big set of a massive. In fact, it was the biggest film production in history, and it was filmed in the UK. So it was a $350 million production. And I was the COVID bastard.
The COVID bastard. You were the COVID Nazi.
I was the COVID Nazi, which is, I mean, I don't think it's done my career as an actor any good whatsoever, but it was a job.
I wouldn't know with that though, because if you're on there and you've stuck to your guns and you've done exactly what you needed to do, like, and mate, obviously I've spoke to you about you being on there and just being like, fuck it, just approach the director, because you know me, I'm an absolute pants.
I know.
I'm a gobby twat, and I'll just try my hardest to get what I want.
Yeah,
and I know you, but you're the same as well though. And I can remember trying to convince you, just try and pull somebody aside and be like, look, just give me a role in it. I am not arsed, I'm an actor, but I'm also a military.
I'll give you. Well, I do.
Mate,
name drops.
I'd have went and found the director, me, and I knew the director is. I'd have went and found him.
I mean, I was thinking about him every day. He got COVID one time, and when he got COVID, we come on set.
Yeah.
And the doctor going, oops, walked up, bang, Carrie, you've got COVID. So does the number one actor.
Yeah.
Who, strange enough, was Austin Butler, who was Elvis. You know what I mean? Austin Butler is.
Is that who it was?
So I'm standing there with Elvis and Carrie now, who just done the last Bond film, going, oh, you got COVID, we have to shut down.
Yeah.
And that was a very expensive shutdown for 10 days with the director, the main character, and that's it. And we had 2 shutdowns during the production, and it was a very, very expensive shutdown. So you can't, everything's about finance, so. But we kept it running. So
if that isn't a giveaway, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. Yeah, I mean, it's. But so there's. But again, there's little snippets of adventures, and when you're working on big productions like that, it's brilliant because you see the magic that movies are, like films are.
Yeah.
And so I get, no matter what, and it's like anything we do, you know, even like you were talking the other day, like being plastered and rendering or doing stuff like that, you take something away, don't you? Everything you do, you take away, whether it's people you met, whether it's an experience, and it's brilliant.
Or whether it's a connection or something like that. Like, I do get it, because I know some of the jobs I've done, I've ended up getting called back for. You know, some of them being massive jobs, and then obviously some of them being small, but it doesn't matter. A job's a job, innit? So I'd 100% agree.
Well, we can plug Sunray as well, can't we?
Yeah, well, we've got you've got Sunray that's coming up, which is.
Well, you got that's YouTube. You can choose the original trailer we've got, the new trailer, because that's literally on the cusp now, or in the final. I mean, it's taken a long time, but this is. If anyone doesn't know what Sunray is obviously a production that's made by a bunch of veterans who we done a trailer, which you can show the trailer. This is the trailer. We've done this, put it crowdfunded. We've got about 100k, so we've made I'd say, punching massively above its weight.
Well, it started as a series first, didn't it? And then now it's been turned into a feature film, isn't it?
Feature film, a 2-hour feature film. And the last I heard from the team is that it's doing the final sort of VFX. It's out in California now, getting VFX done.
Is it?
Yeah, getting VFX done.
Oh, nice. Oh, so it's literally on the precipice of...
Yeah. So they're looking at a new... Hopefully in the next month or so we're going to have a new trailer out and a new possible launch, and that, you know, it's cutthroat industry, and you know the ability to get a film into theatres, into cinemas. If we done that, even if it was just one or two, I don't fucking do.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when it gets released, you don't know who might pick it up.
I know.
You know, this is the thing, and obviously I don't know if there's any word of anybody picking it up, like Amazon, iMovies, or...
We don't know, like I say, it's going to be... But you know, when you posture, you're posturing it for the right position. So if it does, it does. But then it means people have to watch my honking head for, like, you know, a feature film rather than just an episode and switch it off, or binge watch.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, because obviously you've been showing me clips. And the trailers and bits and bobs and some of the footage and stuff like throughout the journey, and it has been really interesting to watch, and it's like, right, I'm fucking really looking to watch it now. You know,
it'll be good, because the subject matter is us, it's our people, it's veterans.
Yeah.
After, like, you know, the mental health issues that we all go through, and it's brilliant. I mean, that if we can get, and remember, it's storytelling. We can get that story out about our people.
Yeah.
And people go, whoa. And that's what I want.
And like connect
and walk away from watching it and going, I get that.
Yeah.
And that is magical. And I don't think as an actor I'll do anything which is I feel as close to us as people and us, you know, veterans with what we've done.
Yeah.
So in a way I am quite sad, but I want it to be good. But, you know, with the understanding, and also want the people that did give their pennies in and, you know, supported it, I want them to go, look, this is what we've done for you.
Am I afraid of death? The ultimate tragedy of losing yourself. Dying in an alien and sterile place. Separated from the nourishment of a loving hand. Separated from the things of life that make life worth living.
Because obviously I do know that people are trying to grab you, because then you got...
No, but that, I mean, you know as well that all I am is me and you. It's tip, innit? But the fact is, it's just fingers and pies and keep on moving.
Just spinning plates, isn't it?
I know it is. But even go back to what I didn't realise when I started the acting though, there's, as an actor, and you know this Dean now as well, because you've done a hell of a lot of acting as well, is that when you start acting, you have to really go to emotional places where
Sometimes you
no,
don't
when you,
want
no,
to
but
go.
when you're an outsider, before you're an actor, you go outside looking and go, of course you can act. Everyone acts. Yeah, everyone acts. Yeah. I'm up to yeah, that's what you're doing in the military, this, that. But then when you get into it, I realised, and I've lost a lot of friends on operations who've been killed in action, and people have taken their own lives,
back home on
and
soil, yeah,
and people have been
around.
struggling. And for me to go to the emotional places as an actor, you had to go and visit them, and that was
Yeah.
really, I was struggling really when I started my actor training, because I respected them too much, and it was just too much of a cheat to go, I need to have that emotion that is real and it belongs to you. I need to use this to be superficial on stage at university or something like that. So I had a real, your moral compass now. I had to sort of sit down, think about it, and go, look, I need you with me, and it's for their respect for them. So everything I do now, especially like the likes of Sunray, but all the stuff we've done, like with some Judge Academy, I've done with Bravo 2-2, it's about our people, and I need those things. So even when I do, like what we've done for SNLR, I had to disappear because you're the producer. But how to go
stage manager. I think Sean was the producer. Let's not take that away from him. He'll end up having a hissy fit. No, I was the producer.
Oh, sorry, but that one, Sean. But I had to go and just go and visit the lad to get that emotional present, the feeling, because and I wanted, because it's camera work as well. You've only got to do emotional scenes. You've got to get it there, because you can't go right. Cut through that again. You're like going. I mean, you've got to hit it, and so you had to go, and I had to really cultivate that. So, for me, being an actor,
I can remember.
It's all about our people.
I can remember that day, because obviously we were meant to have a closed set, and only people on set were meant to be people who generally needed to be there, and that was it. And I think I've actually gone through this experience now. It was during. Was it during lockdown? I can't. It was either during lockdown or last year. Shot a short film, but I can remember, because there was so many people running about on set that didn't need to be there, and I could see you frustrated, and you were like, "Oh, Joe, fuck," and I was like, "Mate, just go on," and I just told everybody to fuck off.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get.
That's what I meant.
I'm trying to get to the dark place when you meet.
Well, no, that's what I mean.
All I can hear you is giggling and farting, and you know what I mean.
Well, no, I was the one that squared it away. I was like, right, everybody out of my flat. Sent you here, and I think Julia was sat there chilling out, and you were just sat there doing your thing. And then whilst you were in here, I managed to make everyone else fuck off, because obviously Nigel was his like first time directing, wasn't it? Obviously a brilliant bloke, and he had such vivid imagination and creative storyteller without a shadow of a doubt. And obviously I think some of the lads there had obviously acted before, so they kind of got it. And then obviously some people were just kind of like, right, well, I know my job and my place, so I'm just going to stand here and be quiet. But then some people were obviously not being very understanding of it, and obviously because they're still maybe new to the process, or maybe it was just because we were getting them involved to get them involved, because obviously so it was a military run production, so we got everybody shot off, and then obviously you got there eventually, and I could see it. And then later, I'm sure it was last year. I think it must have been last year.
But you think about it, we've done that. That was when I was doing the COVID job, so that's 2 years ago. Because I was just thinking that, in between that time, I've gone, and I realised last year I was in Argentina for 2 months doing a play, and I was going.
That was
that's a whole year ago. For
the Falklands, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was incredible, because that was unlike Tough TV's now like that as well, because it was a play about the Falklands or the Malvinas. So there were three British veterans. I wasn't in the Falklands. That was before my time, but a lot of my friends were, and people I work with. But there was a Gurkha and Dave Jackson, another veteran, and they but the other three characters in the play were Argentinian veterans. One, Ruben, was sunk on the Belgrano. One was a motorman, one of the 120 motors. He blew up some of my mates as well. One Mount Harriet, and the other was an army senior as well, like all three conscripts.
Yeah.
And listening to their stories was mind blowing, absolutely.
And I bet it was mental though, like obviously watching these people who were obviously fighting against each other at one point then come together to tell this story on stage.
And you think it's Spanish and English, so I was speaking obviously in English, doing my different things. I do about 3 or 4 different characters. But while I'm speaking, it's being rolled out, obviously a script, and it's with script, and it's coming out in Spanish above the stage. And then when they're speaking, it comes out in English, on the stage, so they're speaking Spanish. So initially, because I've seen it all the time, and my Spanish isn't that bad, so I can sort of understand the rhythm.
Yeah.
But when we were doing the last rehearsals, because when I arrived there, this is another one going, I had to speak to the gang. I got we're doing actor. Do you want to do this here? Well, I speak to the writer and the director. Spoke to Lola. She's like going, right, yes, right, do this, say this. Right, you got the part. Right, can we fly to Argentina next week? Right.
What?
I haven't seen the script, anything.
Yeah.
So I arrived in Argentina, and they're going, right, you've got 6 days, and I've got the most text in the whole play. I've got 6 days, and then we're performing in front of 1,000 people, including the British ambassador and the deputy president of Argentina in Buenos Aires. And I'm going, and I had to sing a song at the end of it as well. No pressure.
Yeah.
But
Ours is going 5 pence, 50
going,
pence.
come on. So just leant into it and done it. But the experience with that, and watching and reading and meeting the Argentinians and the culture and what they went through, the trials which their veterans had after the Malvinas campaign to them. Man, honestly,
And did they get shafted just as well as we did then?
horrendous. Honestly, the way they were treated was incredible, and that really comes out in the story. When you read these stories of these 3 incredible, they're like brothers to me now. They're incredible people,
Yeah.
and when you listen to their stories, the hardship and trauma that people, like-minded people, went through when we were at war with them, and that's it's quite scary, but it is the nature of our business and what we've done as veterans. And like I say, you'd say the same. So I mean, on different other theories, not that, but it's just that it gives you the tragedy of war and the wish that we all have that there was no such thing as war. But the fact is, because of not the evils, but you think of the danger in the world at the minute, Ukraine, all the different big players, all these threats around the world.
There's loads of stuff kicking off at the minute. There was
you think a generation ago it wasn't. Now it is.
Well, it's kicking off in what's it called? Is it Kashmir and Iran again at the minute, isn't it? If I remember right. I don't follow the news a lot, to be quite honest, because it's just so full of negativity, and I try and keep a step back from it.
The same.
It's just hearing from what other people tell me, and I'm like, someone said to me the other day, and I was like, fucking hell, it's bizarre.
I know, and it's like I'm the same. As soon as you're watching I'm going, don't worry. And remember, we used to live. That was our currency. We used to watch the news, see what's happening. That's that. Now it's just so negative. You just like that going. It just messes your day around. You just like that. No, that is really poop. I'm not watching the news. I'll go for a walk.
It stemmed from me. Like I just joined the battalion officially when they come back from Iraq. I think it was, and obviously the lads were obviously decompressing because they were there obviously when the thick of it was going on, with obviously Basra and all that sort of stuff. Would you know about that? Because obviously you've done Iraq God knows how many times.
No, God, that's how I was there at the invasion.
Oh, so did you do this? You fucking saw some shit there though as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean that was pretty chunky for us.
But I know when they come back, obviously I just bolted back from Australia, didn't I? Playing rugby, and obviously these lads had come back from Iraq and stuff. Like, obviously I was too young to go there anyway. Like, and I say too young. I was 18. I was 18. But yeah, and coming back and seeing them all was just bizarre because they were just
different people.
I mean, I'd never seen them before they went anywhere, so I'd never met them any odds. But you could see that there was something different about these people coming back.
That changed their life, didn't it?
Well, because they'd just come back, and obviously they'd lost a lot of lads and that at the time. And I think my mate, who was in the same village, he was one of my best mates growing up. He was a lad called Daz Miles. He was a sniper, and he'd seen one of his mates. He was going to relieve one of his mates off stag, and this is just what he's told me. And obviously, just as he was going to see him, Iraqi sniper got him right through the head, brutal. And I think that was the end of the army for him. Essentially, he was like, nah, fuck that. He didn't want to go to Afghan or anything. So as soon as he could sign off, he did. But I think because our regiment, obviously we had the culmination of the amalgamation, obviously the Kings, the Queens and the King's Own Royal Border Regiment obviously culminated together. I think some of the regiments didn't have good press to start off with, because obviously we're northern daft lads, aren't we, so they do stupid shit. And I think as they come back and the regiment formed, obviously the press were all over the Duke of Lancaster's, trying to, you know, find anything possibly wrong with them to slander them, and then, you know, we were getting all sorts in the paper and the news and all this stuff. And then in the end, I think it was our Razman come out on the parade square one morning and goes, right, people, I'm sure you've probably seen all that fucking nonsense in the news. Best advice I can give you is just don't fucking watch it. It's bollocks. And that was it. And that was it. And that was like, you know, so the first kind of like informative advice from the Razman that I'd ever heard. I was like, alright, sound, he's the gaffer, I'll do what he says. So I just stopped watching the news, you know, and that was it. And I've just got into the habit of not watching it. Like, and I think it's probably paid off, to be honest with you, because then it kind of gives you a little bit more focus, but then at the same time it does kind of leave you in the dark with sort of, you know, specific sort of things, you know. But it's a very strange one, isn't it? You know.
But it's like, even though I think they hit it home with me. You know, it was about 3 weeks ago they had the alarm call on the phone.
Oh yeah.
And I was just thinking, and it goes back to, remember those old films you used to see in the 50s and that, when the nuclear attack things, and I'm just going, whoa.
It was it, yeah.
Isn't it that if something happens, that is going to be, that is the buzzer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spooky.
Well, because we don't have the side. Well, I think they do have them in. So I know they have them knocking about in Cumbria, up in like Seascale, and so they have them quite close by there. Not that it's going to make much of a difference, because nobody's going to get out of range from a fucking nuclear silo, are they? And, well, not a nuclear silo, a nuclear power plant. Within an hour or so, because, you know, obviously it depends, doesn't it? Prep, but like, just logically, if one goes off, it's going to set the other off somewhere. It is, because it's just going to be a daisy chain of nuclear power stations around the country, just go pop, 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 and that'll be the whole country full. You know, which is a terrible thing to do that.
But anyway, yes, that.
let's not dig down that rabbit hole. Yeah. But yeah, so obviously, and now you've got. What's next on the agenda for you? I know you were talking about the play in the Falklands and stuff. Yeah. You're off again somewhere, aren't you?
Yeah, I go off early August. We're taking a play to Israel, to Jerusalem, to do the Israeli theatre festival.
Oh yeah, it was you telling me about what was kicking over there.
Yeah. So we're, you know, and I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to Israel, and it's good to take our play over there. And I think it'll be well received, especially in Israel, because they obviously they've got fractious, and they're continuing in a fight on this. So I think it'll give them something towards the empathy between former adversaries, and just that I think that they'll appreciate the play, I think, as well. We've got that, and I've got we've done Sunray, haven't we? We did Sunray. Sunray's coming up. Hopefully. I've also done a film, which is done. Again, this was the start of last year when we filmed it. It's called Silent Lure, and it's I don't know when it's coming out, but it's done by Young Productions. He's a guy, Chris Young, who created The In-Betweeners. So it's it's BBC film, and we filmed it out. I went out for a week for part I'm playing, and I play the dead father basically. So I'm a ghost in his memory, but there's just images and a few things out there. So it's quite a weird one. I've only got one line in the film. But in the film, I'm in it the whole time. You know what I mean? It's one of those. It's
your presence.
Your presence, or your thought, and it's just a few. And I went to the premiere. We had the premiere on the Isle of Lewis, and then we had another one in Glasgow. And I went to both of them, and they were. It's brilliant. It's a coming of age film for young people, like coming up. But it's really. It's cracking. Like you can see the magic with Chris Young and Johnny Byington, who wrote it, who's a writer and director. And I think they grew up and knew each other. They're both from the islands up in the west coast, and you can see the magic. You can see that in-betweeners bit in it as well as humour, but also sadness and highs and lows. But it gives you that mega the good vibe and that mega cultural sort of like brilliance, I think, of the islands and like mega roughness and that, and you get it. It's beautiful as well, like big seas, surfing and that. So it's, I think it'll be well received. I don't know when it's coming out.
No, they'll tell you though. Well, obviously, you'll get notified if you're in it from start to finish. Then you're probably one of the main cast.
I'm not.
Are you not?
Well, yeah, I suppose
you will be. You will be classed as one of the main cast if you're in it all the way through.
Well, no, well.
You're quite prominent in it though, from what you're saying. Because did you say you like?
It's weird when you watch a film and your name comes up in the credits. You're like that.
Yeah,
like a complete bell end, but it's good to see. But it's a really nice film, so I think I'm looking forward for it to get out and maybe even maybe might even get a London premiere, so I'll be able to get up and
get people down here and watch it and stuff. But you say that though with your name in the credits and whatnot, it's as an actor you want to see that though, not for the self-pretentiousness that people would think that it is of seeing your name on the big screen. It's because it gets you more work, isn't it? Essentially, and you get to do more of the acting, isn't it?
It's like the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's just fingers and pies and being able to tell more stories, because it's storytelling, isn't it? And that it's a brilliant story. I mean, I love that. It's a brilliant story. But again, just moving on to more things. And like I say, I mean, as well. I'm back on track again now. But I get frequently auditions, this and that, and it's a weird concept because like acting for theatre is like a polar difference to acting for camera. A lot of people go, no, it's not. I said, no, it is. So it's just that that little the subtleness for camera is so different. Yeah. And then you've got that magical energy journey you get with theatre, no matter what theatre it is.
It's almost internalised to a certain degree. It's like because that was what Johnny used to have trouble with me, because I trained for doing TV and film acting, and then he was like, right, get on stage, and then it's like and doing all this big shit, and I'm like, and that's what I struggled. And it was a struggle at first, but then once I got the grasp of it, I was like, all right, fair enough. Obviously I think I was still being a bit quiet. I think I've kind of got over that now, but I definitely do see the difference between the two.
I see a difference. Both of them are as enjoyable, I think, but you just have to, as an actor, before I move into one, I have to take a step back, readjust, and then go that way, and then go back, step adjust, and go that way. And it's quite. I love that. I love that. That it's a new story. It's a different thing. It's a different means of telling a story, and it's just so satisfying.
Yeah.
And like I say, after a long career being what it was, that makes it more satisfying as well, because it's like what I mean. It's not much. Because a good thing when you're a veteran, we've got a different sort of like relationship with being nervous. Yeah. Because I've worked in theatre and I've worked with some people really in theatre. They're really nervous going on stage, and you're like that going, and it's just that. Yeah. What you're nervous? Do you have to stand there and talk?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think I was the first time that I ever stepped up on stage at the Globe, which is when I met you.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous then, and it wasn't nervous about doing it in front of people. It was about learning, remembering the fucking lines. That was it.
That's part of the journey of becoming an actor, and getting your own. You know what I mean?
Because we had like I think 1 or 2 rehearsals, if that. But like the rehearsals that we essentially had really were just R&Ds, like research and development, and kind of putting it together. And then I think we rehearsed in the morning, which was sound, But then it was just that thing of not the pressure of the people being there, but it was just you want to get it right for them, don't you? That's it,
You want to tell the story as best you can.
Yeah. I remember Cass turning up the day and he just had to fucking learn all these lines. I can remember that. That was the first time I'd ever stepped on stage, which was at the San Wanamaker Playhouse.
It was awesome,
it was cracking.
300 people on it.
Yeah.
But with that, I wrote a piece in it, so I'd written a piece, and I fused in Shakespeare with it, and that, I really enjoyed that. It was a good little sort of thing. That. I remember when we finished, because mine was a monologue, wasn't it? Well, we'd done our ensemble bits, but then I'd done that monologue, and I was like that, and everyone was dead quiet, and I walked off, and I was like going, must have thought, shit. And everyone was like going, and everyone else got mega cry. I was like going, you know what I mean? And then some of them said, I think they were just gobsmacked.
Yeah.
I was like going, yeah, but could clapped a bit just to give it a bit. You know,
and then Neil Davies got up and just stole the whole fucking show. You know what I mean? When he done his little, well, he told his story, didn't he? But I think he was it part of Fallen Soldiers. I think he told, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he just had everybody in stitches, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, we were like, fucking hell, Neil, the absolute dark horse there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was a good night. I mean, Mum actually come down and seen that.
Yeah, but that was one. It was.
No, I think that's the only.
There was some great stories in that as well, like people on that real human stories, which was incredible.
Well, I think it helped as well that obviously we were doing it for the centenary. Obviously, World War One was it? Armistice Day.
It was 100 years of the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely bizarre. Do you know? It's a shame that some of the people still don't work at the Globe, because we had some brilliant people. There was some cracking people.
Good community. It still is a good community, but there's different people in it. But
yeah,
it's a lovely feeling there, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoy it at the Globe. Like, and we got to go back there and do Many Wives of Windsor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Prance around like fucking fairies, literally.
Yeah.
So that was enjoyable. But yeah, it would be nice to get up there and perform on the stage properly, though, wouldn't it? Do you know, like.
Yeah, rather than being a chorus, like.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, it's opportunity, and it's just keeping that connections, the network, and keeping you focused on Shakespeare as well. I think that, I know a lot of people, even like people I know in my family, are going, I can't stand Shakespeare. And I'm like that going. And when I started my acting training, I really just fell in love with Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
Well, I did myself. I thought, I'm never really going to like this. And I thought, I don't want to do theatre. That's so pretentious. That's what I was saying before I started acting training. I'm just going to do TV and film, and then trained in that. And then obviously the first job that I got was obviously on theatre, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. It was like that different.
Different energy in it all, and it's human beings, isn't it?
Well, it's a I mean, obviously, I think as ex-military people or military people, we like working under a bit of a pressure. I think anyway. I like working under pressure because it gives you that little bit more motivation to put more effort into it and to do better, And I think that's what I like about theatre, is because there's always that thing of because it. I mean, obviously it's like that on.
It's live, and it's live, and the people that are paying the money are right in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I never thought of it that way. But if you think about it now, you're going, yeah, you could really self-induce some serious pressure. But I'm like going, I'm spinning the dick, I'm telling the story. So I love it. I thrive in that. And that energy is buzzing around in that. It's cracking. Because even like because we're doing the reception tomorrow, and I'm like that, and I'm doing that scene, and I'm like that going. And I'm just going to grab it and milk it like you won't believe it. And I'm really just looking forward just to get on there and just milking it like that. Come on, you fucker.
Oh God! But it was. I think because I know when I actually went on to do what was it? When we done Soldier On, in Wells and Sheffield and stuff, and that was like the first sort of big role that I kind of got on stage. And I think even during rehearsals, it was like just trying to nab it and grab it and grab it, and it was, and then
using it. But that experience, what you got from it as an actor, was incredible. That experience, it's precious, isn't it? It really is precious.
Well, it was the first performance that we done in Sheffield was when it finally clicked, and I don't know what it was. Wells, I was still a bit iffy, but I was like, I can go through the motions, I can do my lines, and I can react off people. But it was acting. It wasn't living. And then I don't know.
You noticed the difference, didn't you? You noticed the change.
Well, it wasn't. It was. I didn't. I literally went on stage and performed this whole play, and then, like 2 hours later, I'm like, what have I just done for the last 2 hours? And I completely forgot about everything that had happened beforehand. And it wasn't because I was trying to remember my next line. It wasn't because I was thinking about where I'm meant to stand, or you know, who I'm meant to react with.
You owned it. You
I
actually owned it,
literally just lived that moment.
I
literally just lived that moment.
Yeah.
Like, and because I'd lived the moment, I didn't feel it to be, what's the word? Important to a certain degree. It was, if that makes sense. It was like, because I was in that moment, and you
There was
don't
no apprehension. It was just you were
you just going through the motion. Then Johnny come up to me and he was like, "I seen that," and he did. He come up to me and goes, "I seen that." Then he says, "You didn't even know that you were doing what you were doing, did you?" And I was like, "What you mean?" And he was like, and he just nodded his head and walked off. And I was like, "What do you mean?"
He knew you got it. He knew
Yeah,
you got it.
and I was just in my head thinking, and it wasn't until it clicked a couple of hours later, once we were in, I think it was Wetherspoons or whatever, having a couple of beers.
Probably Wetherspoons.
Yeah, probably no, I think it was because it was.
We're not sponsored by Wetherspoons.
Yeah, we're not. No, absolutely not sponsored by. But if you want to sponsor us, but yeah, and that was the first time it kind of hit where I got it, and then I was trying to chase that again for a while, which was the wrong thing to do. It was like I need to get into it to where I forget about it, and it isn't. You've just got to forget. You've got to learn everything, do everything, trust everything that you've prepped and
but the big
got there,
thing,
and then just forget it all when you go on stage.
But I've told you this one as well. But the biggest lesson I learned in active training was there was Amanda Cullen. She was my lecturer. She's cracking like a girl from Wicklow, and she just went out. Right, Tip, get back up there and stop fucking acting. And I was like, she's completely right.
Yeah.
You said anyone about act, they go, no, you're acting. You just fucking be.
Just be it.
And you just like that. And it's so,
weird,
it's
isn't
empowering. It's just like that going, I know it. But it's not. It's just go, stop fucking acting.
It's like, in
a way, I don't want to give too many people that, but that is exactly it. That is exactly it. It is.
It's, and I see what the rehearsals are there now for. It's not to actually get into that frame of mind. It's to have everything blocked, and that's what the blocking is, of where you are, what you're doing, where you're standing, where these people are. So your
body falls into it.
It's
your memory, your muscle memory, your emotions start hang on. It's bits when you start feeling that emotion.
Yeah.
And that's it. You are in the journey. You know what I mean? It's like getting fully submerged in the journey.
Yeah.
And just holding it.
And then just forgetting.
And it's wonderful. It's such an unbelievable experience.
A couple of times. And then obviously the next week after, I think with everything that was going on, I think we were all just concentrating on making sure that everybody was...
Yeah, because the COVID that wasn't COVID.
Yeah, the COVID that technically, officially wasn't COVID.
Yeah.
That was definitely COVID, that though. The symptoms that...
I know, yeah.
It was bizarre, wasn't it? How many people literally went man down?
I think it was everybody
apart from
you.
And no, there was 5 of us, wasn't there? There was me, there was you, there was Nick Clark, there was Tom Craig, and then there was one other person. Was it? Did Amanda get it?
Yeah,
Amanda got it. It might have been Hayley. Hayley might not have got it. I don't think Hayley got it, did she? I think we were the only 5 people that didn't get it.
Yeah.
Everybody else went.
Yeah.
Sick as a dog, didn't they?
Yeah.
Bloody Imogen Johnny's missus coming over on the plane, learning the lines, getting on the stage,
and then going to hospital,
performing it, and then by the end of it, she's hanging out her ass and got to the hospital.
Yeah.
There was Kirk was bedbound.
Everyone. Cassidy. No, but
Cassidy and Lily. Yeah, they powered through, didn't they?
Yeah, they powered through, and they were hanging out as well.
Yeah, they were like, fuck this, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, no,
that was good effort.
Show must go on,
yeah.
Boss.
Oh man, it would have been terrible if the show got cancelled, wouldn't it? Imagine.
I know. But
I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah,
I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially those last performances, just wanted to do it. But also because I was the understudy. I'm sorry you're all hanging out of your backsides,
but I'm not. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
I've got almost like 3 or 4 different characters in there. What am I doing the next one?
You done the whole last week, didn't you?
Yeah, enough, like, a different character every day.
It was like, literally on the Monday, we're like, right, Tip, you know what to do, lad. Down, you're like that.
I know. That was it. An adventure. That was what I was there for, so it was good to have that. I know, not other people sort of
No, it was
hardship,
bad that
but
they
it was
were in.
bad, but in clip. But I was
Yeah.
quite happy that I got opportunities.
Well, they weren't going to take any understudies originally, were they?
I know. Which again, you could see that would have closed it, wouldn't it?
Oh, 100%. Like, all they would have had to try and pull people in last minute from Canada to try and learn it, which that would have been eventful. But I think the way that they worked, it was so much better. Obviously, Lily had performed a few, and
Yeah,
she'd been in it from the start to finish,
yeah.
so it was like she knew the script inside out. Obviously, you had performed it a good few times. You'd done the original, and then obviously jumped in with the Wells one, and you know, so.
I think that was on the original one. You guys, you were on the.
No, I mean, you'd done Donnie, didn't you?
Oh yeah, and the original Boots at the Door.
The original Boots at the Door.
I've done, yeah.
Same, but different.
Same, but yeah, well, it's the sort of, like we said, the core of it,
Yeah, it has a few similarities.
Yeah,
Just a few.
I know.
So yeah, and then we've got the SNLR that's kicking off, and
Yeah.
then obviously hats off for Bootsy and all that sort of stuff. So
the terminus, see how it comes, what comes, or what we're going to do. And I guess we've talked about it already. Everything we deal with or want to do, even doing your podcast and building, the whole thing up, there's certainly got to have layers of finance, and that's it. If we can get, obviously you can put a play on for nothing, but people have to survive. So if, depending on the amount of finance we can get supporting it, through grants and support, charities, and maybe even corporate support, if we can get it, that'll get add to our production value and what we can do, and also it'll open up more doors to tour with it and do what we can with the play. So it's there's still loads of hurdles to go, but I think with our reception, which is coming up, which again, when we can show SNLR and everything on
well, I'll get the clip off Nigel.
Yeah.
Once it's being shown here, then I think
yeah.
we're officially allowed to share it. Then, aren't we?
he's just making the decision to see whether they want to put the festival. But I know that, like that Roman's Disposition show from I done. Just when I got back from Argentina, I'd done that, and that is, we had it. It's on YouTube, but it got put in for all festivals and won unbelievable amount of awards. So you really, we're talking like in the nearly 100 awards.
Well, what I can do for the Royal Marine Disposition and some of your other work that you've got, then what I can do is get the links off you. And then I'll put them in the description. So what I'm doing is, because I'm creating for each episode that I'm shooting, I'm creating 4, I'm keeping it organised. I'm not going to get into the details about that, but then I'll have it all linked up for you, so people can obviously click in the description when we've got all the stuff uploaded onto YouTube and whatnot, and then people can kind of veer off then, and then that ties them to you as well. And if anybody in the acting industry, whether it's a director or producer, then they'll obviously, and I'll put your spotlight profile and stuff.
Spotlight profile,
I'll put everything there.
Yeah,
I'll put everything there. So then it's a link for you on that episode. So then if anybody watches it and goes, I like him, bang, straight to you. So, and what I think what I'll do is with the clips is I'll get SNLR, I'll get the Sunray clip, and I can't remember if we spoke, or the Iveco advert. What I'll do is at the end of this vid, I'll just bang, box them all off just with a description with each one, and then obviously go from there. Or maybe I'll dot it in. So when we speak about the Iveco one, I'll fire that in, and then when we speak about the summary, I'll put it in there, and then obviously the last one I'll put it in at the end. And then
that's the wizardry you're going to perform, and
that's it.
Making the magic.
Well, I'm not going to get into too much detail again about obviously the editing and the process, because obviously it's very new to me and I'm learning about it myself.
It's part of the adventure, isn't it?
Well, exactly, that's it. But then, because what we are going to do is we're actually going to do a almost like a vlog type thing. So, the next podcast that we've also got is Neil and Sean. So we want to talk about podcasting and them setting up and all that sort of stuff, because then it ties into our vlog, because we've basically recorded all of, well, not all of it, because then we just have too much footage, but like the footage of both me and my mate editing and setting up the equipment and pissing about and all the behind the scenes sort of stuff. So we want to kind of shoot an episode on that, and I think that's probably going to be one of our longest ones, if I'm being honest with you, because you know, we do really want to have enough content there for somebody to be able to watch us.
Yeah, it is content, it's all about content.
Well, it is. Well,
us talking now and everything, all the stuff that we've been sharing the fat about, that's it. This is it. So people listen to this, and it's content, and it's just and it's just real stories with people just telling stories, which again is acting, is everything. It's the industry we're in now.
So tying into our name, which is the How to Human, right? So there was a question that I wanted to ask you, and it was primarily to do with, and I know I briefly asked this, but obviously transferring from the military to the arts. What have you found beneficial, and something that has helped you something beneficial? What have you found that has been the most positive thing that's brought you from the military to the arts? Obviously, I know we say a lot of the stuff is very similar, and obviously it's in similar systems and the way that they work and core values and all that sort of stuff. I mean, what is it that, to you, that you think people should know about to genuinely help them consider taking a path into the arts?
I think
if they're interested.
No, but if they're interested, to me, it's just that military methodology type thing. You know, you're going right. This is the plan. This is the operation. You keep the plan as simple as possible, and you have a plan inside your head. So even when you give a set of orders, it's going right. You know, ground situation, mission, or anything like that. You go right, but this is it. But inside, you know what way the plan goes, and then you just add bits on the orders. You know, to give the actions on and what happens if and all these sort of stuff. Yeah. That's it. But keep the plan simple. But do it. But also you have a mission. So that's it. Same with that set of orders. You know, I will be an actor. And even they ask me about actor training, like I'll be an actor. I say, I'm going to be an actor. Whether I'm a good actor or a bad actor will depend on you and how you train me. But I will be an actor. So the mission's there. That is my mission. That's my plan. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I planned it out. And remember, everything we talk about, finance, you have to go, right, can I afford to do this? Yeah. If you've got responsibilities, you've got family, you've got mortgage, you've got this now, you've got to be able to achieve what you want to do to become an actor, but also to survive. So you have to have, and you said like the different types, either be self-employed or you work for somewhere where you've got work, so pay for those
part-time, just to pay your bills.
But it's got the flexibility and dynamic. Yeah. Right, I'm going to be 2 weeks away filming here, blah blah blah. So you've got to, that is part of your plan. What am I going to be employed as? How am I going to survive? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because
that's the most important thing, isn't it?
It is the most important. But the thing that has made the journey as best, well, I think that we get from service is the human beings, is the people. So you know, the characters that you meet in the armed forces, because it's when you join the armed forces and you're a young person, you join the armed forces, you're moving away from your community into another different community. But you always bring something. Well, I'm from Belfast. I'm Belfast lad, but I bring that with me. But the fact is, you become this wider spectrum. You meet people from all corners of the world. You operate in all corners of the world. You bring all these experiences, but the humour, the banter, the crack, and everything you got. When you map that across, that is their experiences where a lot of people on the other side who haven't had that experience have to create that, whereas you've got it. Yeah. And that magic that you bring, and the talented people I see or work with and see across the whole armed forces, I'm in a way, I'm quite glad I can see that, not a bow wave, I think there's going to be a massive surge of these massively talented people at all levels going into the arts, because their talent is, you know what I mean? They don't come from a creative arts background, but they're just, you see them. I mean, in the armed forces, I used to see people, and the stories just in them. You know what I mean? They are, and it's the humans. So they're honestly the magic of the humans. But again, it's not that anybody else that isn't a veteran is a complete knobber. I said no, it's
not at all.
It's just that realization. I think you realize more from life and service the value of other human beings, and also when you've been through life and death scenarios, you realise the value of human beings and human life. Whereas a lot of people maybe, I'm generalising, but they give it, you're a warmonger, you're this, you're that, and going, no. You realise.
I think you're going out there to do stupid stuff, and it's like, nah.
It's not. You realise how valuable that life is.
Yeah.
So when it comes to people, and it's a classic. Even I'd say if you hear veterans and give throwaway comments about killing people, things like that, they either haven't done it, or
they were stuck in camp somewhere in Bastion or something stupid like that.
Or they
Re-arrest
haven't
one
done it.
motherfuckers.
No, they haven't. Or they've got serious issues.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to life or death, or taking somebody else's life, that is one. It's extremely hard to do as well. But also, if you think in any way that that's an easy thing, or that's a carte blanche, look at it going, well, there's nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not going.
Yeah.
That not as a human being, it affects everyone in different ways, and that's where I've seen a lot of my friends struggling with those sort of moral issues as human beings. It's not, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that realization and that humanity I bring across. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest value that I've got bringing into the arts, and it's good. The hardest thing was breaking down that
barrier to get the
barrier
emotion.
To have those experiences and bring it in, because of the intensity of the operations I was involved in, I think I built up like a barrier inside my head to those emotions.
Yeah.
So you had to break it down, and now it's quite empowering and enlightening because I'm not going, no, I love going there, but I only go there when I have to because I don't want to disrespect those people and those memories. But I need them, so I don't think I could have been as credible as, not that good, but I don't think I'd be as credible, just as effective as an actor.
Yeah.
If I didn't have all those friends that are.
It's not the life experiences, isn't it? The people that you spent time with and the things that you've gone through, and I think, unless you're, I'm not saying you're not, I'm just using this as an example, like, extremely talented actors that maybe don't have a lot of life experience, but they have such an incredible and vivid imagination.
But also they've got...
And so empathetic. People. No, but they're so empathetic that, they're almost empaths of where they can fully put themselves into somebody's life or creative situation and bang and feel that emotion without maybe not even expressing it, and that is a very rare talent.
No, it isn't, but it is. I'd say any actor,
can do
ourselves.
It.
But every actor, even every character you've got, even if you're playing the most evil being this side,
you can always find similarities. Yeah.
You're still that actor, that character. It's the fusion. That's why casting is important to the fusion. But that casting, that no matter what character you're playing, it's still like there's a big over like 50% of that chunky character is you. So you've got to sort of.
I think you've got to know yourself a lot though as well. Yeah. I think, and
that helped me in my actor training. That I learned so much about myself during that training.
There's some people don't want to know the hard truths though, do they? Because they're afraid of it. Like I get it. Like it took me a long time trying to figure that stuff out, and I had to do that before even thinking about acting. Yeah. Like, which was a terrible thing. Crumbling.
I know, but it is. But
once you know, and it's actually empowering as well.
It's empowering, isn't it? You learn so much now, but you own it again then. And also it's owning your emotions and not being afraid to let those emotions and let those emotions come out, like. And that's important because as a credible actor, you're going. It's got to be. I think no matter what, even if you're doing slapstick, comedy or anything,
it's got to be authentic to yourself.
It's believable. It's got to go. I believe that.
Yeah.
Even though, like I say, even like Charlie Chaplin, like, he's doing things. It's a silent movie or whatever else now, but you're doing stuff, and you believe him. But look at him.
That's because he believes in himself. Yeah.
But you're going, no, that is incredible. You know what I mean?
But it's if you can't believe it yourself, then how can you expect other people to believe it? That's it. And
then you're acting. You see, that's me. It's that weird. I'm going, don't act, be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it. Oh well, boom, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, thank you very much for coming, mate.
No, thank you very much. Even though I didn't get a cup of tea, didn't get anything, you know what I mean? It's like this, brings me round here. So I'm round here, no cup of tea, nothing. Look, he's giggling and farting and everything.
I thought you had some water.
Oh, water! Oh, Jesus. bread and butter.
Well, I've got rid of tea and coffee just because I'm trying to get rid of all the crap. I know I'm still smoking, which is terrible, but one bad habit at a time. But anyway, no, thank you very much, Tim. Really appreciate it, mate.
No, brilliant. Thanks very much.
We'll get everything shot on there so these guys can see you, and then when
onwards and upwards, my friend.
That's it, mate. When Quentin Tarantino is looking for his next big actor, and he sees our video, we'll pick it up. Mate,
I'll be far more crustier and far more smelling a weed by the time I get picked up.
He'll probably enjoy it.
Don't mind, it's an adventure.
That's it, mate. That's it.
Take care.
Cheers, buddy. Bye.
Scam hits Londoners. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Tax scam hits Londoners. Tax scam hits Londoners.
Nothing except a battle lost can be half so melancholy as a battle won. An epitaph from Waterloo, where I sleep. Scrounger. How easy to forget those who fought, every single one of them. They matter.
Please?
No comfort for the dying that day. Stuffed into the mountains of carcasses and men with mangled limbs unable to move. Groaning in agony. Crying out. Sobbing with pain. Whatever their uniform, they died with their colors held high.
Bless you.
Poor wretches. At night, when the fighting was over, thieves stripped the bodies of valuables and pigs chewed on their flesh. The sanctity of remembrance so quickly pilfered and defiled. Listen, don't pity me. I live in the streets, not in a kill zone. If I get abused by day and attacked at night, so what? Grieve instead for my desert comrades, blown up in faraway lands and airlifted in body bags. And pity the millions slaughtered on battlefields, their hopes and dreams turned to dust. But it's all right to walk past, is it? Pretend you haven't noticed. Do you care if anyone's remembered from all those who fought and died? Go on, recoil at their savagery, rubbish their patriotism, ignore their courage, and feel no gratitude. But don't ever sneer at them, even if their ideals have betrayed them. Self-important little nobodies have laughed in their faces. You show respect. The dead shouldn't have to squirm. Leave them alone! They answered the call and gave everything. Let poppies pay their silent tribute. No more bullshit. Let them rest in peace.